that, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Cintianada Pangestika, and today I will be the moderator for our second session. But before we start the session, please kindly turn on your camera so we can see you, and the attendance will also be monitored through your screen appearance. I also highly recommend you to keep your microphone muted during our session until it's time for you to deliver a question or remarks. So for this session, we have 3 VIC. They are me, Miss Miracle, and also Miss Grace. We are here with our names starting with the IC1. So if there is any problem, you may communicate your problem to the IC1. Okay, so as the title suggests, now we are going to have an interactive and fun session with Mr. Edhi Prayitno IG. And first of all, I'm going to read the CV of Mr. Edhi. The operator, please send me some help.
Hello, good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Mr. Edhi.
I'm here, and I will try to explain the process step by step of batik making.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Edhi. But first, I'm going to read your CV first, so the participant will know you. Okay. So, okay. Thank you so much, the operator. Well, first of all, Mr. Edhi was born in Magelang, Central Java, and now he lives in Semarang. And please scroll down a little bit. Okay, here he has expertise in English, designing batik pattern, and also writing books. All right, okay. Now we take a look at his work experience. And from here, you can see that Mr. Edhi has a notable journey in television and also journalism, starting from being a radio reporter for Sinta, and then he became the contributor to well-known television channel, and also correspondent to BBC London. Please scroll down again. Yeah, and now, up until now, he's still working with Al Jazeera TV and also liputan6.com, all while being a writer and have published some of his work. Please scroll down a little bit. Okay, right now Mr. Edhi is also one of the batik practitioner in Semarang. He has been making batik for a long time, and Mr. Edhi is an expert in the history and process of batik making. He is currently under the auspices of Batik 16 Semarang, which has been selling batik for a long time in Semarang. Not only selling batik, but Batik Semarang 16 is also a studio to learn the process of batik making. Batik Semarang 16 often holds workshops in the form of training and learning batik, which has been carried out since its establishment. So the students that come there, coming from all ages, from children, teenager, to adults, or anyone who is interested in learning the word of batik. So that's all I can tell you guys from his CV. And as you guys know, Indonesia is rich of cultural heritage, and one of them is batik. UNESCO has also already considered batik as the tangible heritage of Indonesia. And Indonesia has its own National Batik Day, which is being celebrated in 2nd of October. So in this modern era, it is our duty as the young generation to preserve our culture, which is batik. And this session, Mr. Edhi will be showing us how to make batik. Practically, Mr. Edhi will elaborate on how to paint batik in each step. Hopefully, this course could encourage all the participants to reach out more about Indonesian culture, in particular the batik. So Mr. Edhi is already here. Good morning, good afternoon, Mr. Edhi. How are you today?
I'm fine.
Okay, we are so pleased to have you here. And so without any further ado, I'm going to invite Mr. Edhi to show us how to make batik. And the operator, please help Mr. Edhi with the presentation. Okay, Mr. Edhi, now the screen is yours.
Yeah. Okay, good evening, everybody. I will try a simple explain. Simple. I want to try to explain how to make a batik step by step. Okay, the next slide maybe. Yeah. The step one, it's very, very simple. The first wax is applied over the pencil in outline of the pattern. Almost always the original cloth is white or beige. I mean, before waxing the clothes, we must drawing the pattern and the cloth, a white cloth, I mean, with a pencil, and then waxing with over an outline of the pattern. And then the next step two. After waxing, the cloth is dyed in the first dye bath. It's a traditional dye. In this case, the first dye bath is indigo blue, mask with indigo blue, not the other color. The area of the cloth where the work is applied in step one will remain still white. And then in the next step, I mean step three, second application of work is applied in this case. It is a dark brown color. In Java, we call soga, or the other man called sogan, not soga, not sogan. A poor quality of bark is used to cover larger area of cloth. The darker color helps to differentiate it from the first wax applied. Any parts that are covered with this wax application will remain the indigo color. And then step four, it's very simple. The cloth is dyed in the second dye bath. In this case, it is a navy blue. Any areas that are not covered by wax will become, dark blue. These clothes, until this process, we called a piron. Piron in Java mean biru or blue. And then the next step 5, all the wax that has been applied thus far is removed. This is done by hitting the wax and scraping it off, and also by applying hot water and sponging off the remaining wax. In any country that use the products of batik, not use the hot water and sponging, but they use iron. Very, very different of quality. But if we use hot water, the wax can remove more perfect. And then the next step, wax is applied to the area of the fabric that the artist wishes to remain the indigo blue color. The fabric is submerged in the final dye bed. In this case, it is brown. Any areas of the cloth that have not been covered with wax become brown. And then the finished cloth after all the wax has been removed. Let's step a simple step to make a batik, a traditional batik with the color traditional. But now many people use a modern methods. I mean, they use the other color, not a traditional color like my background, batik in my background, the clothes in my background. That's a modern batik, not a traditional batik. If traditional batik, usually use a dark color. I think that's very simple explain how to make a batik step by step. I hope we can discuss about it. We can elaborate about it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Edhie, for the presentation. It's very comprehensive and also insightful. Uh, Now, everyone, if you want to ask some question or deliver remarks about regarding the presentation about how to make batik, you may raise your hand, and I will mention your name so you can ask your question directly to Mr. Edhie. Um, but I do have a question, Mr. Edhie, myself.
Yeah.
I've been wondering, I have heard the news when our fellow neighbor Malaysia claim batik as their cultural heritage also. But I feel like they must have something similar to batik so that they can claim our batik as theirs. So I mean, my question is like, what's the difference between batik, Indonesian batik, and other similar kind of batik from other countries?
Yeah. I can understand this Malaysia claim of batik because many people from Indonesia go and stay there, and then they want to keep the tradition of the tradition and habitual in Java, especially with make a batik. Just not the batik, but jadilan and then reok and many arts from Indonesia. We can find in Malaysia, especially in Kampung Java, district Johor. In Johor, we can find Kampung Java, and there we can find many Indonesia tradition. And then I mean, they're very happy and enjoy and feel in Indonesia if they do the Indonesia tradition. So Malaysia feel that batik not just Indonesia heritage, but the world heritage like this. And then the different, I think not so much the different Indonesia batik and Malaysia batik if we look at the process, the method of making the different with India. If India with ikat ya, not with wax. India, China, but the mean of batik is coloring the cloth with cover the pattern like this. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for the explanation, Mr. Edhi. But if that's the explanation about the difference between Indonesian batik and other countries' batik, how about since you've been working in Semarang and also making batik pattern in Semarang, uh, what's the difference between Semarang batik and also the batik from other cities in Indonesia?
Yeah, if batik in Semarang, usually pattern we explore the flora and fauna motif. I mean the design, the picture, flora and fauna like this. That we draw the tree and then like this we draw the nail. But if in traditional or I mean but in Jogja, Solo, this picture, this pattern is uh, full symbol. For example, if they want draw the birds, not not the full drawing, but just the wings or maybe the head. If in Semarang, they full draw. The bird is bird, not wings, like this. And then the color, if in Semarang, in the long ago, they use natural dyes, but in now, but not with synthetic dyes like this.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Eddy, for the explanation. Maybe any of our participants wants to ask question to Mr. Eddy. Okay, I think I'm going to ask another question. Maybe Mr. Eddy. Um, is there any difficulties in keeping the originality of batik, of Indonesian batik? Is there anything we should maintain, like the color or the texture or anything?
Yeah, uh, I have tips. If you have batik and then want to clean, not with detergent, but please with buah kelera, kelera, kelera. I don't know in English, but the Java people called kelera. We use the skin of the fruit and then the pate after we clean after uh, may if uh, just uh, just winding, not sunny. So the color is very more the color better and stronger after we clean with the clara. The different if we use the detergent, uh, maybe in 3 months the color is uncovered like this.
Okay, thank you so much. Even though I don't really know what clara is, but yeah, I think I can find it somewhere to maintain my batik. Mr. Eddy, we do have a lot of question here, and there is one participant raising their hand, Miss Ataya. Um, okay, you may now ask your question to Mr. Eddy.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Cynthia, for the opportunity, and good afternoon, Mr. Edhi, and thank you very much for the presentation. So my name is Ataya from Universitas Diponegoro. I would like to ask a question about maybe a tips and trick on how to choose a high quality batik when we are going to shopping in like some places who sells batik. I think that is my question, Mr. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Ataya, for your question. Mr. Edhi, you may answer the question from Ms. Ataya.
Yeah. The first, the different, the quality batik and yeah, batik and and it has smell. The good or the most batik, that smell of wax is very strong, very strong. And then the second, this picture, this pattern, this motif, uh, not mm, not symmetries. For example, if you find the pattern or picture of bird, the right wings and the left wings, it's not similar, not symmetries. I'm sure this battery is the handmade, not a machine made. But if and but if the printing batik, that's a very symmetry repetition of the pattern. And then the third, the price is very expensive, not just yeah 2000 uh, 200,000 rupiah is very cheap. If an expensive batik, I'm sure that's a better batik like this. The first smell, and then the second the pattern, and then the third uh, the price, and four uh, the color. Traditional color of batik is sogan, dark brown, and then and modern batik in Indonesia with contemporary color. Uh, that's good, but not better than traditional color like this. They use natural dyes from traditional, but in contemporary use the synthetic dyes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Edhi, for the explanation. Well, we have a lot of questions coming up from the chat box. Okay, I'm going to read some of them for you. Here we have Miss Shamira. She asked, could you explain the historical meaning behind one batik that you think is the most interesting batik pattern in Indonesia?
Sorry.
Okay, I'm going to repeat. Miss Shamira asked, Could you explain the historical meaning behind one batik that you think is the most interesting pattern in Indonesia?
Yeah, batik in Java especially from two words, ngembat and titik. Ngembat mean covered and titik means point. That symbolize that life is the journey from one point, one coordinate to the other coordinate, the other point, and then from the point that become a land, and then from land become a pattern. That's the symbolize of a batik. And then historic meaning behind energetic is the most important. Yeah, many traditional pattern. For example, Siddho Mukti. Siddho Mukti we usually make in the special ceremony and traditional Java. Usually at the marriage, maybe pre-wedding, maybe many use in the traditional pattern. And then kawong mean Siddho Mukti. Before ya. Siddho Mukti mean Siddho mean become and Mukti mean happy. Siddho Mukti mean be happy, and they hope someone make the Siddho Mukti dress be happy in this life. And then parang maybe like the dress the Cynthia use. Wait a minute. Operator can help me. I want to see the motif of Cynthia dress. Oh, kawong ya, kawong. Cynthia, yeah. Cynthia use the kawong motif. Usually, kawong motif use for the birth of the baby, because kawong mean have hope, mean the pray that I use become a yeah, become a perfect person, because the Japanese people know that the human being is not perfect, so they create a kawong motif and hope the person who make the dress of kawong motif become a perfect person. And many motif, maybe 1,000 motif we can tell, but I think that's very difficult, because many story of the philosophical story behind every motif. That's the first. And then the second, the one motif and the other can be combined. So mean they pray that many hope in the better life, like this.
Thank you so much, Mr. Edhie, for the explanation. Here we have another question from Mr. Muhammad Alif, and he's sorry because he can't open the camera due to the connection problem. But he has the question, what do you think in the future the appeal of tradition batik will fall out due to how expensive and tedious the process is? Thank you.
Yeah, in the future, batik just not live in Indonesia, but in the world, because UNESCO give us a heritage of the world, not for Indonesia. Government, the Indonesia government campaign use the batik, but they forget and not give us people the education about batik, a comprehensive batik. They got the clothes with batik motif, batik pattern is batik. That's different. Batik is handmade, and Indonesia government not give us education that batik is handmade, and then machine made. I mean batik printing. The government called batik like this. But I'm sure in the future, batik still live, because batik is pray. Batik is pray. Batik is life, not just clothes. Yeah, just clothes, but habitual delay of us, me, you, all of you, habitual delay is batik. But if batik as a clothes, yeah, who know, like this. And then if the batik, yeah, very expensive, because if we make one piece of batik, for example, yeah, like this, a piece of batik, we need two until 3 weeks to make one. I can understand that very expensive, but with the machine help, we hope more cheaper. I mean, cheaper than batik handmade. But yeah, once again, that's not batik. Batik is handmade, and batik is delay our habitual, like this.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Edhie. Machine batik is it's not batik. I can understand.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to move on. There is a participant who raised her hand. We have here Miss Wahyu Ramadinda. Miss Wahyu Ramadinda, you may now ask your question to Mr. Edhie.
Okay, thank you, Cynthia. Good afternoon, Mr. Edhie, and also all the participants. First of all, I would like to say thank you for your interesting presentation, Mr. Edhi. And I would like to ask about your opinion, how to make batik Indonesia from other provinces like batik Papua or batik Kalimantan going more international. As we already know that Indonesia has a lot of provinces and there also has their batik patterns. Their batik patterns. I think that's all from me. Thank you, Mr. Edhi.
Thank you, Ms. Wahyu Ramadinda, for your question. Mr. Edhi, you may now answer the question from Ms. Linda.
Yeah, many batik in Indonesia from Aceh till Papua, and they have a special motif, special pattern. For example, in Papua, they draw the totem, for example, and then the statue. But the first batik, the oldest batik in Indonesia from Java, and then the transmigration program era Suharto make the transmigrant want to make batik in their new place. So they make the batik in Sumatra, Kalimantan, Papua, etc. So they explore around his life, their life, and find many different habitual from Java, and they used to make a pattern or design like this. But now in Indonesia, not every island has batik. Just the big island. For example, Sumatra has a batik itself, and then Kalimantan, and we build the sanggar in Donggala, Sulawesi. We have sanggar batik in Sulawesi. We want batik can find in every province of Indonesia, and so we built many sanggar in Sumatra, in Batu Raja, and then in Sulawesi, in Donggala, Papua, in Raja Ampat, etc. But the central is in Semarang, 16.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Edhi, for the explanation. I'm going to move back again to the chat box. We have also another question from Ms. Shamira. Mr. Edhi, may I know where you obtain all those skills you needed for making batik? Because she has seen from your CV that you have so many interesting patients, which are so adorable, but most of them you spend in journalism. So how did you obtain those skills in making batik?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm a journalist. I'm a writer, not a batik maker. As a matter of fact, like this. Until now, I'm editor in liputan6.com, and then I still write a book. But as a writer, I must reset the object, all of the object that I want to write. One of kind is batik. Before I write the batik, I must learn about batik from zero, and then technique, and then philosophy, etc. I must reset this, and yeah, I don't know. No, I can drawing. I can make a batik. I can mix the color. That's auto. Not especially to learn. Not special to study to. Yeah, I think that just effect from my reset like this. But my passion is writing. In Semarang, in Central Java, many people know me as a short story writer, and then poetry writer, novel writer, book writer, and journalist, not a batik maker.
Okay, that's so interesting, Mr. Stars that you are going to Mr. Edhi.
Thank you very much for the chance. Good afternoon, Mr. Edhi. My name is Anis Hanjani. I remember my visit to Ulen Sentalu Museum in Yogyakarta, and it was awesome to learn batik there. And I was interested, especially in the motif, that the pattern that was always worn by the royal Javanese family, the kraton. So I know that there are some special pattern that can only be worn by them, like arang sumo, etc. And since it has the value of sanctity and it has a value of hierarchy there, I wonder if there is something we can do to preserve it, since I know that it is challenging for us to preserve it in usual way, because there is a sanctity value in the pattern that always be worn by the royal family. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Anissa, for your question. Mr. Edhi, now you may answer the questions.
Yeah, in the long ago, the traditional motif in the kraton in the royal heritage is just may use by himself, but now everybody can use this. For example, the dress of Cynthia in the long ago, Cynthia not may not use the pattern, but now everybody can use the every pattern from the royal heritage, as I know, the traditional motif from Kraton is different with the general people use. I mean, the kawung from the Kraton with kawung the Cynthia makes that very very different. I don't know. We can find this the different aura, the different soul. If we make the royal heritage pattern. Maybe the pattern is same the pattern, but the soul is very very different, like this.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Edhi, for the explanation about royal batik. We have a lot of questions in the chat box. I'm going to read them for you. Okay, here we have the question from Miss Tia Elvia. She asked, hello, Mr. Edhi. I am Tia Elvia. I would like to ask a question, but I'm sorry, I can turn on the microphone. The question is how to maintain the existence of written batik as the cultural identity of Indonesia in the midst of modernization that is happening. Is that clear, Mr. Edhi?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In Batang, about 100 kilometers from Semarang, in the west of Semarang, we can find the many oldest women, I mean, make a batik. They make they make batik, the moth, pray, and then maybe solawat if the Muslim, and then novena if Christian, and etc. So we draw with many we draw with full of the soul from herself. Solatullah, like this. And then so from here we can know that one piece of batik they need maybe 1,000. I mean 1 year, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 months, maybe just a week. They need this time to finish these clothes. Nothing standard to make written batik. Nothing standard duration, but let's depend on the habitual delay of the batik makers, like this.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Edhi, for the answer. Here we have one participant raising their hand. Mr. Yuta Triwaskita, now you may ask the question to Mr. Edhi.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Nada. Hello, Mr. Edhi. My name is Yuta Triwaskita from History Department, Diponegoro University. I'd like to ask you about these two types of batik, which is the pedalaman and batik pesisiran. In batik pesisiran, we might find that there is much more colorful, much more pattern. The pattern is much more little bit than the batik pedalaman. I'd like to ask you, when we say about the batik pesisiran, it is what known as like known as the Chinese batik, also known as the Chinese batik, right? That we can find that Sampek and Thai, or we can the legend of Chang'e in the motif. My question is, uh, besides the Chinese influence in that batik pesisiran, we can also find the Dutch. But what kind of pattern influenced by the Dutch in batik pesisiran? That is my question.
Thank you, Mr. Yuta, for your question. Mr. Edhi, now you may answer the questions.
Yeah, that's right, Yuta. As a matter of fact, the color in the pedalaman batik more poorer than the pesisiran batik. The pesisiran batik more colorful because they have open culture that's a threat with and then interaction with foreign. But if the batik from pedalaman, that full imagination. Why? Because the pedalaman people the imagination of pedalaman people more I mean the imagination of pedalaman people better or more rich than pesisiran, so they can draw, they can make a pattern. For example, the sky is must not blue. The sky can red, white, dark, black, etc. But in the pesisiran batik, the daily habitual pesisiran people is very, very busy. They trade, and then, yeah, the interaction with the foreign. So the imagination is not rich, and then they adopt the color is what they see. If they see the sky is blue, yeah, that's blue. And then the Chinese influence. Chinese influence usually the fortune color from China is red and yellow. We can find red and yellow color in pedalaman batik too, because the Chinese color is a basic color. Five basic color: red, yellow, black, white, and blue. As a basic color, but the pesisiran batik, pesisiran people, they enjoy to adopt the color that they see, not use this imagination like this.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Edhi, for the explanation. Here we have another question in the chat box. We have Miss Chafa. Hey, Mr. Edhi, I want to know more about batik tulis, especially for its image as luxurious kind of batik. What do you think about it, and what makes it become the special one?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Okay.
That's sorry. Can you repeat your question?
Yes, we have a question from Miss Shafa here in the chat box. She asks, I want to know more about batik tulis, especially for its image as luxurious kind of batik. What do you think about batik tulis, and what makes it become the special one amongst other kind of batik?
Yeah, batik tulis is symbolized of the daily habitual. I thought someone who makes the batik tulis, his life, uh, more, yeah, more calm, and then enjoy. Uh, not not like someone who treat the body, just sell the body. If sell the body, yeah, just look for the profit. But if body tulis maker not look for the profit, the profit just yeah, beside effect, not apa ya, not the point of her life. Once again, batik tulis make a batik is a habitual daily. We eat, we drink, and many activity. As matter of fact, is batik. Maybe very difficult to understand, but I think I must to tell about it because all of you is the younger study and the younger of um, knowledge about that. I must tell about that, and I hope in the future all of you understand about it. That batik or make a batik is daily habitual, not just clothes. So the luxurious classic batik is better than modern batik. But if we look at the color is not colorful and not interesting. Yeah, but don't forget that traditional color, traditional pattern has a different soul, like this.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Edhi, for the answer. We have another question from Miss Vicky. She has two questions for you. The first is there any courses in making batik? And the second question is, Bapak Edhi, what do you think about batik internationalization?
Yeah, Sanggar Batik Semarang 16, we open to batik course, and the budget to course is different about one person and the other, because we want to keep the batik tradition and just want to we can different the people who just want to know and want to learn of batik makers, and one person or the other person that want to application of want to apply it batik in his life. If you want to a course in Semarang batik making, the course of batik making, you can go to Sanggar and then meet the Mestian, say what do you want, please. And don't worry, we not expensive, just very, very cheap. The price just for the change to the works, clothes, etc. And then batik internationalization. I'm agree, because I think batik is perfectly live, especially making batik, not batik just dress, just clothes. I have ethical concept that I mean ethical fashion. Ethical fashion that we use, we make the batik from zero until finished. We keep the environment, for example, the limbah, ya, residue, and then if we make the handwriting, the batik tulis, we can make while make batik, we can pray, and then after they use natural dyes, natural many color from the environment, and then so after we have clothes, after we have a batik, not with not use the scissors to cut and sewing, but just like sari, the traditional dress from India, like sari, and then if you go to umroh, that's the not use the sketches to make for example, the model and like this.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Edhie. And I think Miss Vicky really eager to ask you a question or learn more about batik. She has another question. Mr. Edhie, may I know what defines the value of batik? Because from what I found in the market, batik has different prices.
Yeah. The different price depends on the process of make. Usually, but is not a standard price. maybe you can, maybe you find the same of motif, same of dimension, and then same of color, but the price different. That depend on the maker, but if not a standard price. That's handmade, that's art, not just clothes. Yeah, yeah. Like if we buy a painting, maybe the picture same and then color and then maker, but the price different. Yeah, that's art, not not just yeah, just fashion, just dress, just clothes like this.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Eddy. I think we have zero question left. So, Mr. Eddy, maybe you want to give us, as young generation, some advice on how to preserve our cultural heritage, in particular batik. So batik will still live longer until in the future. Do you have any advice for us?
Yeah. I think batik, yeah. Some batik is yeah just not heritage, but daily habitual. So uh, if you eat with the better food, that's batik. And then you have the other person, that's batik. Batik is daily habitual. I mean, good habitual, not yeah. For example, the thief and then pickpocket. If they have a good habitual, for example, they used to help the other person uh, with this job. This I think that's Bade. But Bade is the balancing of life. That's good or bad. We can find in Bade. The bad Bade, if we fail, make a better life. But if the good battery is uh, bring us to better life. So I hope the younger generation in Indonesia understand batik just not a fashion, just not dress, but a philosophical and then lifestyle and then historical and many story about batik, and we can explore with our imagination, with our skill, our knowledge, and then apply it to our life. I hope this.
Thank you so much, Mr. Eddy. I'm going to keep that in mind. So I think that's all the materials answered from Mr. Eddy. Thank you so much, Mr. Eddy, for becoming our speaker today. We are so pleased. We enjoy your presentation and also your explanation about batik. Now we will move to the next session, which is photo session. So everyone, please turn on your cameras so we can all be in the same frame together. And the operator. Okay.
I'm sorry if my English is not good because I'm from Desa. I'm from Merapi and just use English in my daily activity.
It's fine, Mr. Edhi. We all can understand. Okay, now I think everyone is ready. So we're going to take a picture. Here we have like 5 pages. So for the first page, please turn on your camera and I will count from 1 to 3. So the operator can take the screenshot of the screen. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more time. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now for the second page. 1, 2, 3. Okay, once more. 1, 2, 3. Okay, for the next page. 1, 2, 3. Once more. 1, 2, 3. And the last page. 1, 2, 3. Again. 1, 2, 3. All right. Okay. That wraps up everything. Again, thank you so much, Mr. Edhi, for participating and also for all the participants for your excitement in our sessions. And after the session, we will have a closing ceremony to mark the end of our program. So everyone, please stay here until the closing starts because there will be a surprise announcement. And Mr. Edhi, you may leave the meeting. Thank you so much once again for becoming a speaker today.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, and good afternoon.
Good afternoon to Mr. Edhi.
Malu banget.
Recording stopped.